Hey, what's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. This is Coach Tiffany Parra, editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness Fanatics magazine, elevating your mind, body, and spirit. Today, we have a special live because y'all know you don't normally see me go live on Saturday, so there's something big going on. So you better be tuning on in. I have an amazing woman that I have worked with in the past who is going to join me taking center stage on the Own It Publishing and magazine and publishing platform this morning. Let me go ahead and bring her on in. And y'all see I'm outside today, okay? Taking in these rays. We got Carole Kaufman in the house. What is going on, Carole? Ooh, I'm
Hello,
so
good
excited.
morning. Happy Saturday. Happy end of May. And it's so great to be with you here today.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. And everyone, this is Carole Anne Kaufman, the Whistling Diva. Okay. Carole and I, we did a conference the beginning of this year together, the third annual Girl Powerhouse Network Conference, and it's just amazing. So I'm going to let her just take a moment to introduce herself. We met at a speakers institute webinar, and she just has an amazing personality, just amazing. So Carole, just please tell everybody just where you're from, a little bit about what you do, and what got you into being the Whistling Diva.
Well, awesome. Thank you for asking. It was such a wonderful day when we got together and had an opportunity to meet. And it's just been a wonderful journey of all the different activities and just projects that we've been able to share. So first of all, thank you for having me. And, it's just been, this year has been a delight, just you brought all these wonderful new things. And of course, so the big news right now is that my Monrovia Music Fest, our 8th annual event, is coming to Library Park in Old Town Monrovia, which is just east of Pasadena. And, like I said, we've been doing this for 8 years. It's an incredible event that I started just as a little grassroots event to celebrate my city's birthday. And the darn thing has doubled every year, of course, including the workload. But the fun load has, really expanded as well. So, for the last 6 months, I've been glued to the desk. You know how that goes. And, making calls, finding bands. And the event is very special. So first, it has all the trappings of a great music fest. So we have about 9 or 10 different bands throughout the day that I'll share some of the specifics with you a little bit later. I have a curated artisan market with just beautiful crafters that come out. We have delicious treats. I have food trucks, savory and sweet. I have a 5,000 square foot beer garden. We have a kidzone, giant bubbles, a bunch of free activities. We do all of this under our nonprofit that I started a few years ago called Creative Being. And our idea at Creative Being is to inspire community and creativity through artistic self-expression. And we believe everyone is an artist, and I believe everything is art. And, if it comes from the heart, it's art, is what I like to say. And, our goal is to inspire people into action, that you find and discover and explore your art form. And so, the thing that's a little different that we're trying to create is that I don't perceive my event as a passive experience where you're sitting there watching the bands and you're just shopping. What we're hoping is that as you go through your day, you're starting to see, what's my thing? What's my art form? How am I a creative being? And letting the experience really move through you so that you start to think about what is it that moves you, what inspires you, and how can you include that in your life on a daily basis?
Oh, I just love it. And just music, music gives everyone joy. I don't care. Like, I don't care what kind of day I'm having. If I put on some good positive music, I just start moving, and it really just ignites just that positivity. So I'm so excited that you're doing this for your community, and I hope that it grows even bigger and bigger, but yeah, everybody, if you are in the Monrovia area, which is close to kind of that Pasadena area here in California, definitely go out next weekend for this event. Again, you've got all sorts of cool stuff going on. You got different bands. So regardless of what kind of genre you're in, if you don't like one, you're going to go over and you're going to probably love another. So definitely get out there. And you know what? You may actually even get out there and hear some music that you've never heard before and really, really enjoy it. Right. I mean, I just cannot wait. So what inspired you to become the Whistling Diva? Like, I mean, have you just did this come like have you been doing this all like your whole life? Like, I mean, so just share with everyone how you became the Whistling Diva.
Thank you. Yeah. So, I like to say that I have the great American whistling story. It's pretty classic. My dad was a whistler. And of course, as a kid, I wanted to be just like my dad. So I learned, my first little notes, got one little C sharp or something like that. And then I was hooked from that moment. So I'm a two-time world champion whistler. And, there used to be a competition in North Carolina called the International Whistlers Convention. I found out about it through the Reader's Digest, which was a magazine from years ago that a lot of people don't know about anymore, but was on every table in America once upon a time. And so I went off to the Whistlers Convention and I won first runner up. And I kind of just thought, okay, this is definitely my sport. I've got to get there. I want to win first place. It took me a few years. I ended up going to their event in Japan in 2008, actually, which is quite a while ago now. But that is when I won the World Championships of Musical Whistling. And that's when I really started to own my power as a performer and really start to understand the gift that was given to me. And I want to qualify that by saying, a lot of time we talk about this artistry that we have, it's a gift. And, this is something, how we give it to others and, all these things. And all of that is totally true. But I think sometimes we actually kind of forget about the actual experience of the gift, where there's a part of ourselves where we have a skill, we have a sense of artistry that we get to express. And the expression of it is the gift, right? So I love being able to whistle for people. I love performing. And of course, I love the feeling that I get. There's something about when we connect ourselves and our artistry through our actions that is extremely, extremely powerful. And it really is transcendent. It takes you beyond, I sang a song. That's not the experience, right? It's something that you're feeling within your body. And, of course, that's why through my nonprofit, we want to have everybody experience that, because it doesn't have to just be standard art form. It doesn't have to just be, I'm a singer, I'm a whistler. The way that we exercise, the way that we organize our home, the way that we be a friend and parent, all of that can be art. And so as I go, my own artistry, that is when I really felt like I started to come alive. And whistling was my access. That was where I was able to have something interesting to talk about, and people were interested that I could do it more. And then the whistling convention in North Carolina ended. The wonderful man Alan DeHart, who created and sustained the event for over 40 years, he passed away at 96 or 7, and I just kind of picked up the torch and created my own whistling event. Here in Los Angeles, as a matter of fact, we have the Masters of Musical Whistling coming up October 3rd through 5th at Barnstall Gallery Theater in Hollywood. We have a lot going on in the nonprofit. And so people come from all over the world to whistle and to meet and compete, and we have an incredible competition. And so, as to answer your question, I'm a two-time international whistling grand champion. I've won the Whistling Entertainer of the Year. I've had the opportunity to perform all over the world and go to Japan quite a bit to perform in their World Whistlers Convention. And,
that is amazing.
It's just, your art can take you everywhere, right? And
Right.
whether it gets you rich or not, is not really the point.
I think it's the impact, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, right. I think people get so stuck in just, the money, 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 money. No, when you're able to go out and do the thing that just lights up your heart and do that every day and teach people and pour into people and be able to show them what maybe might light their heart, it's so impactful and it's priceless. It really is.
So,
I mean, sharing my story, of releasing all that weight, right? You know, I my art is really being able to tap into self, right? Because I was broken in so many areas and I did the work, and now I feel so passionate about doing that, and when I share the story and just share the things that I was doing, right? Because I mean, I've been doing natural things my whole life. you know so now to be able to teach people how to make natural teas and things like that, right? It makes an impact, and I love just giving it away. I mean, I've got my PEMF mat here, and I use it for myself for healing. But while I'm here in Campville, I'll call it, in my tiny home, I love to share this because I feel like that was a gift that was given to me. Just the knowledge of the technology. So I just love that you're sharing your gift, and you're really inspiring people to tap into their own gifts, because there's so many people that they don't even know that they have that gift. You know, they people really need to go and just try something new. Try
yes.
something new. I mean, if you're feeling like something's missing in your life, go out and try something new and get around other people. Get out of your circle. And that's really going to help you to just excel. So again, if you're not, used to getting out to festivals and things like that, get out there to this festival. Tap into some of the things that Carole's doing, because Carole has such this light and such this energy. Energy attracts Energy attracts like energy. So that you're going to have a really rocking good time when you get out there, and there's going to be people out there that are there to do the same thing. They're there to share their gifts. They're there to help you to maybe tap into your gift. And it's beautiful when you can create an environment like that. There needs to be more environments created like that for us to have a safe space to be able to share our gifts. So I just commend you for what you're doing, Carole.
Thank you. Everything you said is so perfect. I so appreciate all of it. From the getting out and having your experience. Uh,
It's an airplane. Sorry.
love it. I love it. I mean, and actually, what just happened is a perfect example of of kind of what we're talking about, artistry. Sort of what you said, everybody's concerned about monetizing. People are very concerned about perfection, right? They want to say, oh, well, I can't show it until it's perfect. Well, I can't have a podcast until I make sure that no planes are going to fly over my head during my podcast. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like the impromptu nature of it. That's, as long as we can go with the flow, that's part of what you're saying. When we get out, literally, when you do new things, new synapses fire in your head. They expand our mind. It keeps us young. Just like we need to move our bodies, we need to expand our mind. And it can be very simple. You tap into something that you find a little bit interesting and you check it out. It doesn't have to be this difficult thing. It doesn't matter if you make money from it. That is, you just hit a point that is really, it's a bone of contention for me, because there's this idea that somehow art has to reach a certain level of something that somebody else decided in order to have
Mhm.
value. The only one that decides art, in my opinion, is the person that is creating the art. And that is the experience of the artistry. Now, of course, there is a whole nother level that is accessible to us when we share our art. That is next level, right? So
Right.
as a whistler, if I sit home and I whistle, when I whistle in my car all the time, that's how I practice, right? So I'm breathing, I'm experiencing, I'm having the moment. Now, no, sometimes I'm just doing it. I'm not, in the fields, but it doesn't matter. I'm still doing my art, having value. But
Right.
when I share it with the world, now I'm turning other people on. Now I'm creating some, you know, you know, uh, infinity symbol inside of my community, right? We have the flow,
Yes.
but that is not necessary, right? We can take things step by step, and maybe you never get to step two. It doesn't matter. I mean, we are already artists, just like you said. We are already there. And when you take away the judgment, and all that's left is art. And art,
Yes.
the thing I love about art is, in my opinion, it's one of the very few things on planet Earth that is just good. It is just a good thing. You can, I'm sorry, I'm not really going to engage in any other debate. The fact is, when you paint, when you organize, when you love all of these things that are coming from this artistic point, it is a good thing. It can only bring good to your life, and
That's
we can't say that about everything.
You really can't. You really can't. And it's it's an energy exchange, right? When you're painting something or when you're whistling, right? You're whistling, and that's beautiful music going out into the world. And that's that good positive energy that's going out there to ignite someone else's soul. And that's like when you're painting, you go out and you put your gift on that canvas. And when someone sees that, maybe not everybody may not see it like you do, but that one person, it might be the person that is going to change the trajectory of everything because they loved it. But you have to share it first.
It's
You
very
have to.
cool, yes.
So tap into those gifts, y'all. Tap into those gifts and get yourself down to the Monrovia Music Fest next Saturday at, what is it?
Sunday, next
Sunday,
Sunday.
excuse me, next Sunday, the 8th. Next Sunday, the 8th at Library Park.
Yeah, so actually, people from all over Los Angeles come out to the Monrovia Music Fest, and yes, it is next Sunday, June 8th, from 12 to 7 p.m. at Library Park. It's just a mile north of the metro station in Monrovia, so it is extremely accessible from all over LA. Jump on the metro from Pasadena, from Santa Monica, wherever you want to be from, and come on out. It's really just so much fun. I have some incredible acts this year. Haley Hermida and the Haze is going to be there. I have young Kenta, who is actually a Afro beats artist from Rancho Cucamonga. But I am just so
Hey,
excited to have, Nigeria, by the way, of Rancho Cucamonga coming through. Blues and Fries, Acoustic Universe. There's so many different bands, all different genres, all free to watch. Bring a chair, bring a blanket. We have one of the most magnificent trees in Southern California, the Morton Bay fig, that is spectacular, that provides a canopy for everyone who is enjoying the festival. And, again, we want you to come out and discover your own art form. Come and, yes, go shopping. Yes, of course, have a pizza or have a lobster roll. We want you to enjoy that. But as you do, kind of think about the fact that, that this is, Cousin's Maine Lobster is a guy who, made sandwiches for his family, and then everybody, and then his friends, and everybody loved it. And then he said, let me sell a sandwich. And now he's created this
look
business.
at
Now,
that. Look
now,
at that.
and the thing is, it's not so much, again, about the monetizing. Yes, okay, we all need money. Duh. It's about the fact that when you have a passion in your artistry, it can grow to almost anywhere that you want to take it, and you can continue to expand that experience in your life. And it's sort of one of those, if you can dream it, you can create it type of things.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we have so much more freedom than we give ourselves credit for sometimes.
We do. Let me see if I can bring up your flyer here so I can share that with everyone real quick. Let's see here. Can I get it?
I want
I'm
to
not.
say one thing while you're pulling that up. We are a nonprofit, so if anyone is feeling inspired or bored, and they know, I've got too much time on my hands, I'd like to volunteer for some people who really need some assistance, come on out to the Monrovia Music Fest. Actually, just go to the website, which is monroviafest.com, and there's a little volunteer button that you can join in. And it's just a really fun experience. Let me just see if I have
If
uh,
I go in here, it's uploading.
my flyer. Give me one second.
I think it's got it. I got it right here. It's just uploading into there.
Oh, perfect.
There we go. Let me add it here. All
Hey,
right. There we go.
yeah. There it is. Yes, Monrovia Music Fest. We're so proud of our beautiful little poster. We've had the opportunity to just work with so many artists, and you know how it is. There's just Tiffany, you know better than anybody. When you start an event that is, it's this little teeny granule, and then it's the community that you meet, all the people, right? All of a sudden you have something to talk about, right? You're literally speaking something into existence. And,
Absolutely.
and it's the most fun way to start meeting people. And then you find other people's artistry. And so I'll let you in on a little secret. Now, obviously, we all have to do things the way that works for us, but I want to put in my 2 cents. I know there's a lot of people that when they start something new, that they say, "Oh, you know what? Don't tell anybody. It's going to get jinxed. Don't tell anybody. You don't want anybody to break your stride." I have a completely different belief. Now, once I've decided, right, or I have fully chosen powerfully that I know I am doing something, right, and I am unshakable. I've made my decision, and I know myself. That's what's happening. I tell everybody. Absolutely.
Yes.
Now, let me caveat anybody who's not a supportive person in your life, we don't need to even have discussions with them.
No.
So that's beside the point. Everybody else, and really people match your energy with this type of thing, right? So when you come
They
and you
do.
tell somebody the first year, right, out of nowhere, I had 6 weeks, I was like, hey, I'm doing a music fest. I'm creating this thing, or, I'm informing them how excited I am, what my commitment is, right? I'm not asking,
Yeah.
hey, do you think I should do it? I'm saying, hey, I'm this. I'm kind of being a demand for them to be on board. And it happens really very naturally. And it is the way that I build my momentum. That we are not an island, that people do get inspired by what we do, that you will be
Right.
shocked to see the things that you do, that if you share them, people all of a sudden go, oh my God, well, I wanted to have a community event, but I thought that was too much. But I didn't realize a normal person who just has a little
Right.
commitment can do something,
Yeah.
and it doesn't start, you don't start with an event that is humongous, that takes over the park, that has the BMW experience and raising
Right.
Cane's is coming, and food trucks and a
No.
giant stage from this guy. I mean, like, I big borrowed and stealed everything, whether it was grammatically correct or not, the first year. But
Yeah.
and another little secret that I have as a producer. Now, again, this is not for everybody, but if you can allow a little bit of humanity in your production, it you can allow yourself to thrive over time. And what I mean by
Mm,
that is I have certain team members who are incredible team members, and they are very sciencey per people. Things have to be in a box. You have to start on time. You have to know the plan. Everything has to be this way. I would love for that perfection to exist, except
right.
I can't work that way. Everything's a work in progress. And so for me, I sometimes have to tell the team, like, you know what, we're going to try it. We're not going to kill ourselves over it, and we're going to see what happens. And as long as we don't embarrass ourselves too much, everybody's going to know that we're a person. And that's
Right.
usually that's kind of when things get down to their lowest, and maybe I'm running 10 minutes late and it's supposed to be on time, and it's like, you know what, I guess they're just going to have to recognize that we're all human beings here.
That's right.
And if it can't, that's okay too. That can be their journey. But my journey is that for me, what I learned is if it has to be perfect, I'm not doing it.
Right.
And
Oh,
so
I'm with you there. I'm
you
so
know,
with you there.
I can't handle the pressure. And I had a lot of people trying to tell me things about how things had to go. I'm willing to embarrass myself a little bit because I know that my commitment is what shines. I know
Right.
that the purpose is what shines. And
That's right.
yes, of course, my ego can get bruised, but it's actually causes a lot of freedom for others. When we can gracefully accept the airplane that comes above our head in the middle of our big speech, that inspires people. That helps people realize, oh, okay, I don't have to be perfect. It's just an airplane. We can just
That's
stop
right.
talking and then go back to talking again. This is not about perfect. It's about participation.
That's right. It's just showing up. You
Yeah,
know, I've been on here before. I've had dogs barking. I've had, when I was in my other house, husband coming in, this and that, music playing, whatever, my teenager, doing stuff. Like, that's okay. Because if I would have kept saying, oh, you know what, I'm not going to do it because they're home, or I'm not going to do it because, I don't have any place to put the dog, or no, it's life and life happens. So, and like you said, this gives everyone else that inspiration to know you can do it too. We're everyday people that are just out here doing magnificent things. That's it. That's it. We had an idea and we decided, you know what? We're going to bring it to the world and we want to make it shine. We're bringing that positive light into the world. And that's what it's all about. Don't be perfect. Stop being perfect.
That was perfect, though. I'm sorry, that was perfectly said. Exactly, absolutely. Yeah, it's
Oh
not.
my goodness.
When you
It's
take
not.
the pressure
It's
off of
not.
yourself a little bit, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wonderful to give ourselves that permission. Say yes to you. It's really about kind of. I mean, maybe you might in improv, which I have a lot of experience with and absolutely love, and it's a great skill for life because
Yeah.
some of the rules for improv, for example, the one that comes to mind is when somebody gives you an offer, when somebody says something, the way that you continue the scene, your life, is you say yes and so instead of right on the improv stage, you can't say no because if somebody says, "Hey, Dr. Jones," and you say, "Ah, yes, Peter, I'm not a doctor." I mean, now you killed the whole scene. It's no fun. But if you
Right.
say yes, and now you're going with the flow. Now you're expanding the ideas. Now you're going into a new world that expanding your synapses. It's kind of fun to see, and I know you're into this, but it's really amazing to see how the outside world affects our inside world, our chemicals, our brain chemistry. I mean, everything is affected. And when we say yes to our passions, that affects our brain immensely.
It does. It really does. I mean, it change it when you say yes to what you're passionate about. You understand that all those feel good hormones are released even more. And you get even more creative, and you just, I mean, that's where I do the best work. I mean, it really is. So you had said something earlier too about, when you're creating events, and having that team, don't be afraid to ask for help, because that was the biggest thing that I saw, and I still see in, when people are trying to do their events. A lot of times they're trying to do their events alone, because they might be a little bit of a control freak. I know I was a little bit of a control freak before, and I had to say yes to other people coming in and helping. I mean, you helped so, tremendously with this last event that we did. It was like, hey, opening up and saying, yeah, you know what? Yeah, go ahead and do that. Yeah, you're good at that. You know what? I'm not. And just knowing where you can, position yourself for the success of the event, and where you can work with others, to be able to just make it happen. I mean, that's it's so important. Just remember, everyone, you cannot do these things alone. So get out there and network with people. Get out there to the festival. Get out there to some of these other group events. That are going on in your community, because we really need our community. We really need to build community these days. There's so much just separation right now, and so much just negativity, and just this undercurrent of things. So get out there to events like this, because that's going to be something that's really going to raise your vibration. Music raises your vibration. Art raises your vibration. Being around good people raises your vibration, because when you're around people with high energy, you tend to take that high energy. Same thing with the low energy. You don't want to be around people that are energy vampires, that are just going to put you into a bad state of mind. So get out there to some of these events. This is more than just an event, really. I mean, this is a movement, and this is a movement to elevate energy.
Wow, thank you, Tiffany. That's an incredible interpretation. I that is very moving to me. I appreciate that acknowledgement, and you're absolutely right. And I want to share another tip. So, I have a degree in communication studies. Communication is one of my passions. There's nothing more exciting than saying something and having people get it. And it's not the simplest thing.
Right.
So I know that people are afraid to ask. It's this very universal thing where we don't want to hear no. And
Mhm.
so we need to find ways to communicate what we need And if we need to come up with loopholes, then so be it. And so I have a lot of things that I do. And as you said, I need my community. And I don't always feel so comfortable saying, oh, hey, Tiffany, are you available? Can you help me again? This type of thing can feel a little awkward. Now, it's great if we can just be direct. But what I like to do, so again, I talked about sharing everything with everybody. So if I meet somebody and I need something, right? So it'd be like, oh, hey, Tiffany, great to meet you. I'm Carole, great to meet you. I have a nonprofit. As a matter of fact, I have an event coming up right now. I'm in a whole entire process of finding volunteers for my event. So it's an exciting process. I'm out there. We're putting it on the website. We're doing all this great stuff. And, we're just looking forward to seeing how we can increase participation this year. So, that as well as finding bands, like these are all the things that I'm up to these days. How about you? And so now there's an opening in the space that if somebody is moved and inspired, I like to volunteer. Oh, what do you have available? I didn't ask for anything. I'm just
Right.
saying, I know what I'm up to. And that's an opening for them, especially if, again, we're making connections, we're feeling warm. If people are, the probably one of my favorite things about having a nonprofit, when you become a nonprofit, you have to fill out a lot of paperwork. And the
Mhm.
main piece of paperwork is your mission. And your mission is, of course, just a very concise statement about what it is that you do. And as I said, we are all about inspiring community and creativity through artistic self expression. Finding that phrase, and again, I'm a communication studies major, so probably maybe not everybody's this passionate, but knowing exactly what I'm up to, having been able to verbalize it, now I can share my mission with people and they can get moved. I was just sharing about my event last night, out on the streets, inviting people. And when I started talking about the nonprofit, you can see people are moved. They're moved about what you're up to. And, I like to talk a lot, as I'm sure everybody listening can tell. But, when you're sharing the concise ideas, you've got to be very succinct. Your elevator speech, right? And one thing that's so fun is to watch people have a visceral experience with what we're up to, because it's universal. Everybody is moved by art. As you said, everybody is moved by music. Everyone is an artist. And we love that acknowledgement. You see it. It's like, oh, I'm an artist, and that's the experience we want people to have. And because it unleashes the yes that we're talking about, when you're holding back and you don't like a frame, right? You don't like this label of artist because you don't know if you deserve it. It's like, what, let's
Mhm.
bypass the whole artist thing, automatic entry to the club, and now let's see. Once we've taken away, it's the resistance, right? When you're in that space, you can't hear, you actually can't think. You're almost in a fight or flight, right? So
Mhm.
especially if you have baggage. You have baggage around art because your grandma told you that thing looked ugly and you said, I'm never doing it again. You know what I'm saying? You're locked down. The first step is to relax the shoulders, to let go and to create the opportunity. It's not realistic for people that have been traumatized to just go with a yes. That's
Right.
why we want to create the bridge, right? That's why we do the work. And just as a reminder, not all the work has to be work. You know what I'm saying? Art therapy, all these things, they open us up. And all we're trying to get to is the allowance of the yes. We all have it in us. It's there. We all want to participate. We all want to love. We all want those things. And if you have some little stuff, we got to just relax so that we can actually see what in the heck we even really want. Be present
Right.
to who we are.
Ooh, Carol, that's some good stuff right there. Look, I hope y'all that are listening now and even listening to the replay, y'all are taking notes, okay? Because I'm just gonna say, note takers are actually money makers. Because this is good stuff. Oh my goodness. So, Carol, is there any words of wisdom or words of encouragement that you can give someone that might be on the edge of just wanting to do an event, right? Because there's a lot of people out there that I know they have some type of just passion behind them, and maybe it might be a craft festival. I know a woman that does craft festivals, or maybe it's, I don't know. I'll put a weird one out there. I mean, it's not really weird, but like a snake festival. I mean, there's a lot of snake lovers out there. So if someone's out there and they want to do a snake festival, what are some words of wisdom or words of encouragement you can give them to just get them over the edge so they can show up? and be able to bring their community together like you brought your community together.
Thank you. So obviously, it's a lot of the things we're talking about today. I would say at the core, so a first few things, start small, right? Like allow yourself to have a boutique experience where you're not investing all of everything, right? Obviously, ask your community, right? So if you don't have, you're afraid to start because the equipment's going to cost you a couple $100, just start asking around, hey, do you have a table? These types of things. Uh, the Even though I already kind of just said it, the idea is, so what I mentioned earlier is that we want to share with everyone what we're up to once we're committed.
Right.
The first step is to get committed. It can happen in an instant or it can be a process. I remember my first ever stand-up comedy show. I walked into a bar down the street because I don't know, I wanted to hand something, or I can't remember when I went in there for, just for a quick moment. And they had a stage, and I've always loved stages. I perform, I have my whole life. And I was like, wow, that's cool. I could do a stand-up comedy show there. And I walked out and I told my girlfriend, oh my God, they have a stage. I'm doing a stand-up comedy show. I'm going to call it Super Funny Hardcore Comedy. And 3 months later, at a totally different venue, I ended up doing that show. But
Oh, wow.
that thing, that inspiration, the commitment happened in an instant in that particular case, right? That I felt it, it was visceral. I knew I was doing it. I started telling everybody. And now, look, that's the other thing. You start telling everybody, you can't go back. That's embarrassing. Like, oh, hey, when's the show? Oh, yeah, no, I chickened out. I mean, so that's one way. But of course, it doesn't usually happen automatically. Usually what happens is you walk out of that space and you tell your girlfriend, wow, that space was cool. That'd be cool to do like a stand-up show or something there maybe one day. Then you share with the right people the next day and you say, I went and I saw this venue and I don't know, kind of inspired me and I was thinking I wanted to do it. You only do it with people are yes people. And you be with that yes, right? You share it a little more. Now you make a call to the equipment people. How much is at a table, right? Oh, it's only $100 for everything I want. Okay. All right, Then you allow these little pieces to happen. Now my secret
Mm-hmm.
is that once I get to a point where I'm feeling pretty good and pretty inspired, I book the venue
Okay.
and I make the flyer. And now, of
Yeah.
course, we don't do that if we're not sure, but it is a little bit of a push. I'm a person, I know myself. I don't like feeling awkward, and so if I say it, you can usually count on me that I'm going to do it. I know that about myself. So that is a great way for me to live into that commitment. Now, I'd be realistic if I know I need to. I need a couple of months to get the promo going or something. I give myself a couple of months. But the other thing is, again, I tap into my, this is not something I try to go off of as much anymore, but it's always in the space. Something in my world is always better than nothing. Now, there are experts that will tell you that is not true, but it's still what has gotten me where I am, where that if I know I'm going to do the show and it's not going to be everything I wanted, but it's going to be good. That's enough reason for me to fulfill on my commitment. If it's not going to be perfect, I'm going to be okay with that and know that that's part of the process. If we do not do it, if we do not go on stage and do it, we have nothing to take from or learn from. All it was a process that almost happened. There's a huge victory in failure. There is no victory in doing nothing. It is, it doesn't feel good and it doesn't give us results. As a matter of fact, it continues the story that says, I'm a failure if that's what's going on in your head. So
Mm.
we have to give that opportunity to have a little grace for ourselves and to just go for it. And then have your supportive friends there that tell you you're wonderful.
I love that. I love that. Oh my goodness. So let me bring up the flyer one more time before we check out of here because I know you probably got a lot of stuff to do to just finalize things for your event and all that good stuff. So here we go, everybody. So it's going to be June 8th. So that's next Sunday, Monrovia Music Fest. It's going to be at Library Park in Monrovia. And you've got music, you've got food, you've got if you drink and you want a beer, you've got craft beer, you've got the kids zone, so it's a family affair. Okay, everybody, grab your friends, your family, everybody, and come on out to the Monrovia Music Fest. Go ahead and bring that back down. All right. So, Carole, thank you so much for all that you do. I truly appreciate you. I know that your city and I know they truly love and appreciate you for doing this music festival as well. Everyone, tap in and just have an amazing day. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of my life, Carole. And I know we will be doing some magnificent things very soon as well. So watch out, y'all, because you're going to see me and Carole doing some things too.
I love it. Tiffany, thank you so much. I just want to mention one last time. Of course, we have our music fest, but if you got a little bit intrigued about the whistling thing, go ahead and check out mastersofwhistling.com or just Google Whistling LA. I promise you will come up. And October 3rd through 5th, we have that event. So if you want something mind blowing, that's on a total nother level. And just want to put a little bug in everybody's ear. We have a documentary coming out by Academy Award nominated documentary team out of Australia. There's a documentary called Whistle that it will be out later this year featuring the masters of musical whistling. So keep your eyes peeled and your lips puckered.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Carole. We'll see you soon. Have a great day, everyone. Bye bye.